All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And in this video, I'm going to answer one of the main problems that you Jakes, which is a shortened version for you children, shortened name for you children of Jacob, and who are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But in this video, I'm going to specifically be focusing on the Southern Kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which would be you so-called black people of the earth, man, right? And how I'm going to try and answer one of the main questions that you have in regards to the so-called white race, man, and it's why they are so obsessed with you, why they cannot just leave you alone, why they're always up in your business, why they are so, at the same time, they hate your guts, but then they're just like obsessed with every single thing that you do, right? And it's not a thing that you're imagining. It's very much true. And every time they try and make you feel like it's not true, it's the ultimate form of gaslighting. They are obsessed with you. All the things that you think that they're doing to you, they more than likely are doing those things, right? Every single time you're questioning whether they're trying to antagonize you, more than likely, yeah, they were, right? All the time when you think that they're trying to step close to you in public, being weird, right? Yeah, it's more than likely they are doing it, man. More than likely, yeah. When you're thinking that they're doing these things, they are more than likely, right? Because they're obsessed with you. Now, the reason as to why they're obsessed with you is not because you're black. This is the thing that you Jakes need to realize, man. And it's mad because all you Jakes can see that there's an obsession, but you don't have the answers as to what the obsession is. And the obsession is that you are Jacob and they are Esau. Now, what does that mean, right? And in order to understand what that actually means, you have no choice but to go into the Bible, and that's what I'm going to do. All right. So when you go into the Bible, into the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, you learn about the birth of two nations, right? This is Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. So she was questioning why the children are struggling in their womb together. If this is supposed to be a blessing, if my husband Isaac's entreated Yahweh for me, right? And if Yahweh's entreated me because of him, and I've conceived now, why are these children struggling together within my womb? Like, isn't this supposed to be a blessing? Why am I catching all these pains in my stomach from these children fighting, which she would have been, right? Verse 23, and Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So that the children were fighting against each other from within the womb, man. Right? They didn't like each other from in the womb. Imagine a little baby trying to take out another little baby, but they ain't got the strength to do it. They ain't got the strength. They're trying to throw punches. The punch ain't gonna do nothing when it lands. They can't even walk. Their limbs ain't strong enough to do damage. Right? If you ever seen two little toddlers trying to fight with each other, they can't really hurt each other. They might hit each other in the head with a lunchbox, with a toy, whatever. They're not strong enough to do any damage, man. And when they're in the womb, they're even weaker than that, right? They were not made. They literally were not made to like each other from the moment they were born. They were two completely different people. The so-called white people who you call so-called white people, that you're saying that they're obsessed with you, they're not so-called white people. They're Edomites, right? And when it starts to become socially acceptable before the kingdom to start calling these Edomites to their face, man, just watch how the world starts changing. And I personally see that before the kingdom comes, that Jakes are gonna just start calling Esau Edomites as a more regular thing, man, and that's gonna start to cause for this truth to be shut down, man, as people just start to naturally call a so-called white man Esau when he's acting a fool in public, getting in front of a Jake's face, harassing people. They're gonna, instead of calling him cracker and all of this stuff, they're gonna say, yo, fuck off, man, you Edomite, man. Get the fuck out of here, man, Esau. They're not gonna use the normal insults. They're gonna just use the truth and call him an Edomite. I personally see that happening, right? Verse 24. In fact, no, verse 23, and Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elders will serve the younger. Now, do you so-called black people believe that this is talking about, when it's talking about these 2 nations, that one of the nations is the so-called black race, Latino and Native American race, who all of our origins go back to Jacob, yet Jacob had wives by 4 different women, and that's the reason why we have slightly different images, slightly different appearances, because although Jacob's our forefather, our mothers also like counted towards what we was going to look like, man. Right? Yet we still have a like similar, you can still catch a so-called black person, a Native American person, and a Latino person. You would be able to find groupings of all of those people, right, that look exactly the same as all those other races. You can do that. That's possible to do. If anyone says it's not, you're a liar. Now, Ethiopians also can look like so-called black people, right? African Americans and all that, but they're not the same as us. And there's even scriptures for that as well. Amos 9 and 7, I believe, is one. Verse 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, which just because they were twins does not mean they were the same nation, because verse 23 clearly says that 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people, and they're separate. One's going to be stronger than the other. We're stronger than so-called white people. Facts. I was watching a gym training video the other day, right? And there was just loads of Jakes, and it's because of how hot it was in the gym. They got their tops off, like ended up taking their tops off. And I was just looking at the Edomites in the background, and they all, none of them looked even close. None of them looked even close to being as in shape as any of those so-called black men in the video that I saw. Not even one of them. Not even one. Right? Esau has to take steroids to try and look like what we look like, just by being alive, to be honest with you. Now, us brothers in the truth, Yahweh takes away some of the time our ability to get in shape, man. We might go through a period of, okay, 3 months, we was able to train unhindered, right? And then might go through 9 months of now you just got all these different ailments and you can't get to the strength, man. You might go through 6 months where you're able to train smooth, no injuries, no ailments, nothing bothering you with that. Then you go through 3 months injured or whatever. Or some people out there might be able to go through years, or might never be hindered within their training in general, man. Some people might be given that because Yahweh's allowing them to have it like that. Yahweh's allowing some people to have it where no, you don't have no problems with your training. But for the most part, Yahweh hasn't made the people that believe in Yahweh, that believe in Him, have it like that. Right now, for all you people that are new and you want to understand why they're so obsessed with you, I'm trying to have the patience, man. You watch all these other videos where you get told why they're obsessed. This is the video that's giving you the answer according to the Bible, right? Because somebody in this book, right, there's 2 in this book. There's 2 nations that are mentioned that are the complete opposite of each other. So-called white people and so-called black people are the most furthest thing apart from each other on this world. Do you deny that, or do you accept it? So-called black people and so-called white people are the most far apart people, right, than anyone else on this earth. Than anyone else. The way how we eat, the way how we dress, right? Esau likes to wear his clothes hitched up tight, strapped around his veins. We like to wear our stuff a bit more loose sometimes, man. We like to be able to have leg room in our trousers, you know. When we sit down, we don't want the damn crotch to bust out, man. You know what I mean? We like there to be some space within the pelvic region when we're wearing our clothes. When we're eating steak, we don't want blood dripping out of it, right? We're completely different to them. The way how we talk, to, and even the fact that we like women is different to Esau. Esau don't really like women. He mainly uses women because he needs them to reproduce his nation. He don't actually really like women, right? And the fact that you can tell that he doesn't really actually like women is that every single country that he's in charge of is legal to be an alphabetter and a rainbower. It's legal to live that rainbow way. But if he really liked women, he'd be like, yo, bun all that man with man thing, man. and bun all that women with women thing neither, because the women with women thing is stopping me from dealing with women, with as many women as with more women than I could. He makes it illegal for men to have more than one wife, right? But he steps in and lets it be freedom of choice, whether a man's gonna be with a man and a woman's gonna be with a woman. But he makes sure that he makes it illegal for a man to have more than one wife. That's a demon. That's a wicked individual. Because in some places in the world, it's legal to smoke weed. People that don't want to smoke weed don't smoke it. It's legal in most places to drink alcohol. I don't really drink alcohol, right? It's legal to drink though, but I don't drink it. But Esau will make it legal to do something wicked and illegal to do something righteous. If he really was a more of a righteous individual and really didn't care about what people do, he'd make it legal for man to have more than one wife, and then the people that want to have more than one wife would do it. Right? They'd do it, innit? And the people that don't want to have more than one wife wouldn't do it. Right? But he steps in and makes a choice for you, right? Whereas with the alphabet and rainbowing thing, he don't step in and make the choice for you. He gives you the freedom of choice to do either or, which really, it's meant to be prohibited for you to be an alphabet and a rainbower, right? But let's carry on anyway. Verse 25. And the first came out red. Who's red on this earth, man? Because I know for damn sure I ain't red. No matter how much the sun hits me, I ain't red. And I ain't no red bone under that stuff that Jake want to be talking about. I ain't no red bone. I'm just like the standard in the middle brown skin amongst our people, man. My skin's like maybe the colour of a copper coin. I've tested it before. I've took a copper 2p piece, pull it on my hand, and it's basically exactly the same colour. Basically exactly the same. So all this talk about us being black, it's BS. Right? We ain't black. Our skin's brown, clearly. And they ain't white. Their skin's red, clearly. And the summer is showing that. The summer weather that's going to be coming up is going to show that they ain't no white. They're red, mate. Right? Red. Simple as that. Now, they'll get offended at that, but then they don't think that we should be able to get offended by them calling us black, or by scumbag Edomites coming up to Jake's and calling them the N-word and then saying, oh, it's freedom of speech. It's my freedom of speech. You should just ignore me if I'm saying it. Yeah, okay. You should just ignore us when we start calling you Esau then. How about that? Verse 26. In fact, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that, came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And that's because we're going to eventually, at the end of Esau's kingdom, we're taking him out, man. That's what that heel grab signifies. That Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? And I'm not going to give you all the answers in this lesson, but if you go to the book of 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter, right? 2nd Esdras, E-S, right? E-S-D-R-A-S. That's how you spell Esdras, right? 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, the 6th chapter, right? And read that. You'll find out more of the answers to why these people are so obsessed, man. I'm going to give you some more that's directly from the Bible, which the Apocrypha is in the Bible, but it's not in the Bible that most people have in their house, right? Now, going straight to the point of the whole obsessed thing, right? I'm going to show you this verse for all you people out there, and you tell me if you think this is talking about a group of people being obsessed. But before I do that, I want to show the reason, because we've got the birthright, and these Edomites really believe that we stole the birthright, right? But actually, the birthright was always ours to begin with. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And them wanting to slay us and kill us off, get rid of us, unalive us, has never escaped. It's never been a thing that they've ever stopped trying to do, man. They're always trying to do it. They're always out there to try and get us, even when it seems like they're trying to be cool. The scriptures is clear. Never, not sometimes, not maybe on once in a blue moon, not on a leap year, not oh if it's the Sabbath day, not oh well during the Feast of Tabernacle. No, never trust thine enemy. Just as the same, if just the same way how iron rusts, that's the same way that he's wicked, right? Does iron rust? Right? Does the sun come out in a day? Does the moon come out at night? Yeah. He's weak, and that's the same way that he's wicked. Does your heart beat without you wanting it to? Yep. That's the same way how he's wicked. Right? The same way how all of these things actually happen and naturally occur. That's the same way that he's wicked, man. That's the same way that he's wicked. And he's never stopped. Right? And all the staring, all the gawking at you, all the when you're on a job, they're trying to harass you, they're trying to befriend you to then try and screw you over later somehow. Right? I've experienced that on several occasions with these devils. Right? All of this stuff that they do, trying to stop you from moving up in a company. And then some worse working Edomite comes through and they're trying to move him through the ranks quicker than you. Right in your face too. Right? All of that kind of stuff that these Edomites do, right? It's because they're Edomites, man. And these Edomites, as we're starting to see right now, when it's not a super rigged, unfair advantage, they can't handle it, man. They're nothing. When they don't have a rigged, extreme advantage over everybody else, right? When even if the unfairness is like 70-30, they still can't handle that. They need like a 99-1 rigged unfairness in order for them to feel better. And even then, there's still that fear of that 1%, man. Even then, there's still that fear. But let's get this. Not Genesis. Ezekiel chapter 35. And let me go to this one. So Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because I was had a perpetual hatred, they're always up in our business, man. You Jakes that are seeing this, or you, I'm gonna say it this layman term way. All you so-called black people that are seeing this trend of so-called white people being obsessed with you, you're right. They are. It's a perpetual hatred, but don't take it don't think of it as a thing that, oh, it's because I'm black and they're white and the Atlantis. No, it's because you're an Israelite. And if you are not prepared to accept that that is the reason why they're doing it, first is because you're an Israelite, and then secondly, because they're an Edomite, right? Or if you can't think just one of the two. You can't think, oh, they're doing it because they're Edomites and I'm black. No, you have to accept both things. That you first off are an Israelite. You have to accept that, right? And you have to accept what that means, man. That you're gonna be one day the best people on the earth, and you're destined, whether you like it or not, to be immortal gods living on this earth, ruling it. Right? You have to accept that for starters. Then you have to accept that these people are not white. They are Edomites. You have to accept that. And if you cannot accept both two things to be facts, right, you are never going to be able to understand the reason as to why they are obsessed with you. It's not ever going to make sense, right? It's not going to make sense that, oh, just because your skin is darker than, it's beyond skin color. It's more than skin color. The skin color is one of the things that makes us different, but it's not about skin color. If all Edomites were black, they would still hate our guts. And if all Israelites were white, so-called white, red color like them, they would still hate our guts, man. It's not because of our skin color. That's one of the things that they've been able to manipulate and make out like it's one of the reasons why they hate us. But there's other nations of people that have got brown skin, lighter and darker than ours, that they do not treat the same way as they treat us. So it's not to do with skin color, because there's several people in India, right? There's several Indian people in this world that have skin that's more dark than ours, that's brown. It's not because of our hair that it grows like wool. That's one of the things that they've been able to point out that's different from us, that they can use as an excuse to why they hate us. But they hate us because we've got the blessing that they think's really theirs. Right? Verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end, Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So Yahweh is setting these Edomites up to go through all the things that they once upon a time have made us go through, man, because they seem to not hate blood, right? So okay, you don't hate the sight of blood, you don't hate the sight of death. Well, you're gonna get to experience your very own, right? Since you like shedding it so much, well, that obviously means that you don't mind your own being shed then. Or since you thought that slavery is so civilizing, right? Well, you're acting very uncivilized now in this world. So don't cry that you're getting ready to be civilized then, right? Verse 11, which this is one of the key scriptures that shows the whole obsession thing, man. Verse 11, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy. And that's what that obsession is because of. It's because of envy. Don't be tricked. Don't be deceived into anything else that they say. Oh, it's because you're black, mate. You need to go back to Africa. Nah, it's got nothing to do with Africa. Because if we was all in Africa, they'd find their way over in Africa. If we all went to China, they'd find their way into China, mate. Right? If we all went to live in London in the UK, they'd find their way over to London, mate. If we all went and lived in Texas, they'd find their way over there. If we all moved to Australia, they'd find their way over there, mate. They'd fight through kangaroos to go and find out what we're doing. It don't matter where we go, they're always going to be obsessed, right? And it's because of their anger and because of their envy. What's the anger from? The anger is because we got the birthright and they think that it's their birthright, right? And they realize, which it says in the scripture, that they've sought out a place of repentance, but they ain't one, and they sort it out with tears, and they ain't no place of repentance for them, right? And the envy is also because we got the birthright now. All you so-called black people that you question, and you've noticed that these so-called white people are doing something to you that you cannot describe and that they're obsessed. You have to understand that this is the reason why. Even though some of these so-called white people do not actually accept or know that they are the Edomites, they are. And because it's a spiritual thing first, before carnal, their spirit is against your spirit, man. You're an Israelite, they are an Edomite, and we were made to be against each other, and it's not something that we can help. We can't stop ourselves. We can't make ourselves be heathens. We can't make ourselves be Edomites, and they can't make themselves be Israelites, man. There's nothing that we can do about it, and there's nothing that they can do about it. We're the chosen. They can't. They want to try and stop us from being the chosen, but they can't. They do all these things against us to try and make us seem weak or dirty or thieves or criminals in this world. They've ran hundreds of thousands of smear campaigns to make all these other different nations in the world hate our guts. And if we go to all these other countries, these people being racist to us, even though they've never actually had an experience with a so-called black person to have any hatred towards them. Some of these people, that's because of Esau, right? The so-called white man. But this is all because of envy. It's not because of nothing else, man. And it goes back to that birthright that I've read in Genesis 27. And you have to acknowledge this. Nothing else makes sense as to why they're doing this. This makes the most sense. If you're thinking that they're just doing this stuff because you're black and they're white, no. That doesn't make enough sense, because there's other people in this world that are so-called black like you, and they don't do these things to them. They don't do it. No other group of so-called black people in this earth have had the names that they're considered to be changed so many times. 1 minute they're colored, 1 minute they're Negroes, 1 minute they're Africans, then they're African Americans, then they're FBA. You know what I mean? They're just changing their names that they are all the time, right? But then when we lock in and say that we're Israelites, now everyone's losing their mind. Now everyone, oh nah, you can't say you're that, but we was able to say that with everything else though. No one cared about us saying that we're all these other things, but the moment we say that we're Israelites, now all of a sudden everyone's got a problem with it, because we are. Now all of a sudden when a man mentions that he's an Israelite, he can go from being a billionaire to a millionaire. It's because we are the Israelites. That's the true thing. And the world's maneuvering based on that fact, right? Prophecy is moving based on that fact. And these Edomites' obsession is more and more, because when they're seeing you not acting out the way how they want you to act, the way how they've become accustomed to, the uncivilized, wicked, scumbag way, they're questioning, man, do these people know that they're the Israelites? And the more and more we actually do know that we're the Israelites, these Edomites are going to be forced to have to try and come at us in completely different ways to what they're used to. They're going to have to change the manipulation techniques, man. They're going to be forced to. The old tricks are not going to work no more because we're going to see right through all of that, and we're going to know you're doing this because you're an Edomite and you're jealous and you're envious. I know what you're up to. And the more that this society starts to crash, the less likely an Israelite's going to be to care about saying that straight to an Edomite's face. Like, I know you're an Edomite. I know what you are. They're not going to care. They're not going to feel scared to tell the truth about such things as time goes on more and more. They're not going to care. Verse 12, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. In fact, let me read verse 11 again. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. So Esau's getting ready to be judged, man. Verse 12, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. And that's one of the reasons why they feel so entitled to harass you when you're in public, because they feel like you're desolate people right now and that you've been given to them to consume. They think that you're their plaything, that you're supposed to bow your body down to the street, that they can walk over you. They think that you're there for their personal entertainment, man, that you're there for them to just harass and bother all the time. And that's why they feel so emboldened. That's why you had this recent Edomite that he felt so emboldened that you're laid desolate and given to them to consume, that he made a living out of going up to so-called black people, calling them the N-word, and then say that they're chimping out when he's actually actively went out in public to offend you. And then when you get offended, he's questioning why you're offended, because they think you're laid desolate and given to them to consume, right? But Yahweh's remembered all of this. And that's why that particular individual that's did that, he's getting judged right now. He's getting judged right now. Being sentenced with being charged with attempted unalivement, man. Verse 13, thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Because them boasting against us right now while we've been in a low position, they don't understand that Yahweh put us in that position. The God of the Bible put our people, all of us, African Americans, Caribbeans, all you Jakes screaming out FBA, FBA all the time. I understand the tribalness of you shouting out FBA, but really all you're really doing is trying to make a claim for Judah, the tribe of Judah, really. That's all I see whenever I hear the FBA, FBA thing, that is Judah trying to get some respect for Judah, because I'll be honest, a lot of people are disrespectful to the tribe of Judah. They are. But the FBA thing, you just can scream and run your mouths and say FBA, FBA all you want, right? But whether you like it or not, you are connected to the Black Caribbeans, right? To the Native Americans, to the Latinos, right? We're all Israelites, man. And the FBA thing that you're saying, the tribalness that you have in regards to that is really, as far as I can see, and as far as I see spiritually speaking anyway, is just the tribe of Judah trying to be segregated from all the other tribes, man. But it's not going to work like that, because Yahweh Shai is the top of all of our nation, and he's from the tribe of Judah, and he's coming back to bind us all together, man. We can't try and ignore one tribe or the other. Now, I can understand Judah being pissed off that the other tribes are trying to play him dry. Fair enough. But Yahweh's not going to allow you to do that. The FBA thing's doesn't have the proper spiritual answers to all questions, man. It doesn't have the proper spiritual questions to all the answers that you need. They mention a few good things, but it doesn't have the true it doesn't have the true answers to why they're obsessed with you like this, like what I've gave you in this video, mentioning how the so-called white people are Edomites and you are an Israelite. If you do not accept that, you will never truly understand why they are obsessed with you. You will never understand it. You will never get the answers. Verse 14, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. And that's something for you Edomites, man. When the whole earth's rejoicing, you Edomites are going to be made desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, Like all the time when we was low and we was down, they always laughed at us. But now that you see that they're starting to catch hell, now all of a sudden it's a global pandemic. It's a global economic crisis. You know, I don't understand how people can live like this, right? But whenever we was not understanding how we was can live like this, they always had an excuse. Oh, you're not working hard enough, or you're not this or that. But they now we're supposed to believe that they're all working hard enough in it. We're supposed to believe that the system's the reason why they ain't got the standard or average or high level middle class economics going on for them. But the reason why we didn't have it is because we were lazy black bums in it. But now that same system's against them to stop them from having a certain wealth that they think, all of a sudden it's because of the system, but it was never because of the system and we was going through it in it. Isn't it interesting? Verse 15, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. So these Edomites are getting ready to catch hell because of all the things that they're doing to us, including being obsessed, not minding their own business, right? And a lot of these Edomites, when they end up in captivity in the kingdom of heaven, they're gonna be thinking, man, all these times that I was just being a Karen, bothering these Israelites, I was wasting my time. I should have just been enjoying the kingdom that we had. Because now I ain't gonna get to enjoy any of those things ever again. But you know what? That's the way Yahweh set it up for you, man. Just like how the way Yahweh set it up for us was to catch hell for really thousands of years, man. Going back to Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, that was destined that we was going to catch hell for thousands of years. When you read Deuteronomy 30 and 1, we're going to go through the blessings and the curse. The blessings and the curses have lasted over thousands of years for us as a nation in total, right? But the day is going to come when we get the blessings in our final state, when our mind is circumcised, our hearts are circumcised, right? And we're never going to go off and do anything wicked again to end up like the way how we live in any of these places like America, right? And on that I'm gonna say shalom.